I know it's 5:30 or past 5:30. We're waiting on one more board member so that we have a quorum, and I understand she's walking in, so thank you for your patience. All right, we've got enough board members here to conduct business today, so we'll go ahead and get the Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting for Thursday, February 19th kicked off. With that, I'll introduce the board members. We've got Heidi Rosenleaf, Justin DeShazo, Sean Adams, and I'm Stephen Coe. For staff, we've got Aiden over there at the computer, Joella and Julia up here, and Josh over there at the computer. With that, is there anything else we need to do before we just kick off? All right. Aiden, our first thing on the agenda, Appeal A, has chose to wait. So we're going to move on to B, Variance 26-2. Aiden, do you have a presentation for us?
Yes, I do. Thank you. This presentation is for Variance 26-2 at 2904 Silver Bow Boulevard. I'll give it a sec. There we go. The applicant is Double J Properties LLC and Josh Janey. The applicant is seeking a variance with the goal of greater flexibility in the types of businesses permitted in their grandfathered commercial building located in a residential zoning district. A little background. The building located at 2904 Silver Bow Boulevard was constructed in 1964 and has since been utilized as a commercial space, despite its R4 zoning designation and the permitted uses in that zone per section 17-1620 of the Butte-Silver Bow Municipal Code. It has most recently been occupied by an overhead garage door company that was granted through variance 23-1. This variance was specific in use to the most recent tenant's business. The surrounding character of the existing neighborhood is predominantly residential. The proposed development is within the traditional neighborhood place type of the comprehensive plan. This place type primarily prioritizes single-family dwellings. Here's an aerial view of the property in question. It's located in the red square. You can see it's in the R4 zoning district, but in close proximity to a C1 zone as well as unzoned land. Here's just outside images of the building. So a variance must not be contrary to the public interest. The zoning ordinance safeguards public interest by preventing building congestion, creating uniformity within the different zoning districts, and preventing uses of land that may be incompatible with or have negative impacts on the surrounding property owners. In this case, the commercial structure is already existing and was built prior to the implementation of the ordinance. This structure was never intended for residential use. It was once occupied by a mechanic shop and most recently an overhead garage door company. Staff recommends the board impose conditions of approval regulating business hours, screening, and lighting. No business shall be permitted or qualify for a Butte-Silver Bow business license that creates excessive noise, dust, or odor. Approval of this variance will not result in a zone change, but rather provide the applicant with more flexibility in which whom they lease the space to, without need for approval from the Zoning Board of Adjustment for every change in tenant. All occupants will require review and approval for business license issuance through the Butte-Silver Bow Planning and Building Departments. Conclusion of law. Due to the long-time nature of this property being utilized for commercial purposes, this variance proposal and the permittance of small-scale commercial businesses would most likely not be contrary to the public interest. The imposition of conditions of approval to guarantee minimal neighborhood disturbance. Literal enforcement of the provisions of this title will result in unnecessary hardship. Unnecessary hardship, as defined by the Montana Supreme Court, must result from a condition unique to the property, such as peculiar property shape, topographical feature, or geological trait. This quality must preclude the applicant's ability to place a structure on the property in compliance with the zoning ordinance. The hardship may not result from a condition created by the applicant. The structure that occupies the parcel was constructed in 1964, predating the implementation of the zoning regulations in that area. Due to the positioning and character of the existing building, it is not practical to convert the property into a type of residential dwelling that would be permitted in the R4 zoning district. Though it may not be impossible to one day utilize the parcel for residential purposes, it would likely take extensive remodel or probable demolition to do so. In conclusion of law, a hardship is present. Having a pre-existing commercial building in a residential zone would prohibit the use of the structure as it exists. Rather than forcing the structure to remain vacant or be demolished, it may be appropriate to consider the commercial structure on a residentially zoned lot a hardship. Literal enforcement of the ordinance would only allow the property owner to use the structure for uses which are not feasible given the existing structure on the lot. The spirit of the zoning ordinance shall be observed and substantial justice done. Zoning is intended to permit the reasonable use of private property while restricting practices which may infringe on the rights of adjacent landowners. Public health, safety, and general welfare must be protected and weighed against the rights of the applicant to utilize the property in a way that may be suitable. While the intent of the ordinance is to restrict commercial development in residentially zoned areas, it also recognizes that the community has existing non-conforming structures and provides a path to maintain those structures without disrupting the character and the residents within the accompanying neighborhoods. In conclusion of law, based on the case analysis, the request to allow a variety of commercial uses without the need for review by the Zoning Board of Adjustment for each change in tenant is appropriate. The use and scale of potential occupants must adhere to all conditions imposed by the board as they see fit. Recommended conditions of approval. Hours of operations may start no earlier than 7 a.m. and go no later than 9 p.m. Any outdoor storage, including the dumpster, shall be screened from all residential properties. No business shall be permitted in this location that would cause excessive noise, dust, or odor, which could result in undue nuisances to adjoining landowners. All applicable permits and licenses, including building permits, business licenses, sign permits, plumbing permits, and mechanical permits, shall be obtained prior to commencing operations. Restripe parking spaces so business parking is clearly identifiable. The address must be clearly labeled and identifiable on the outside of the building. Any outdoor lighting must be consistent with that of a typical residential dwelling. No lighting may project or protrude onto neighboring properties. Active business operations must not lapse for a period of 1 year in order to maintain an active grandfathered status. In conclusion, the intent of zoning is to prevent incompatible land uses or activities from impacting the health and safety of adjacent uses. The proposed development does not appear to be contrary to the public interest, and the parcel bears hardships owing to conditions unique to the property. The proposal will be required to obtain appropriate permits and meet applicable building code standards. Our recommendation: approve the variance application based on written findings of fact as described in the staff report with appropriate conditions. The board can alternatively deny the application or continue public hearing on the application. And that is the conclusion of this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Aiden. Do any board members have any questions of staff? All right, none at this time. Is the applicant present? Can you please come up, state your name, and tell us about your what you're doing?
Yes, sir. Got it. Laid out. No, I'm good with everything as described up there. The only thing, like the conditions of approval on the restriping the parking lot, we already have some issues with the neighbors utilizing some of the parking, so we're trying to dissuade them from parking and not restriping it and actually inviting them to park, if that makes sense. And it's not conducive with the conventional business to where there's foot traffic in and out of the building all the time. So that's the only one that really stands out, but everything else seems fine to me. If it's fine with you guys, let's yay it up.
Thank you. You clearly have seen the conditions. That was going to be my question, so that's good. I guess, Julia, where do we stand on his request for the parking striping? Is that something we're willing to entertain, or?
Mr. Chairman, I think the question is pertinent. Excuse me. In the establishment of the condition of approval here is really to establish the opposite concern that is being posed by the applicant, which is preventing customers that would be coming to his business from imposing nuisance on the residents that are in the neighborhood. And that was really just to distinguish and decipher where those locations would be. But I think depending upon the occupancy of the building and the number of people that might be coming to the property, not knowing what that is, I think that we could reasonably work with the applicant through the licensing process to determine a solution for any parking, and then work with him on any trespass that might be happening on his property as well. So I am open and amenable to modifying that condition of approval if it is the board's preference to do so.
Thank you, Director Crane, Director Julia. Do board members have any questions of the applicant or want to discuss anything with them?
I'm just kind of curious what prompted this application and what business is going to go in there now.
So we were already granted a variance back in 23. It's listed in the presentation. We had an overhead garage door company in there, and we got the variance specifically for that company to operate on premises. Because we are leasing the building, they have since moved out, and now we're entertaining new tenants. And I'm fine with reapplying for every new tenant, but it just seems like as long as the business proposed is reasonable, then it should just be given a variance that extends longer than the term of the lease.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Thank you, and we'll continue on. So with that, we'll open up for public testimony on this variance request. Is there anybody in the audience who is in favor of this or would like to say so at this time? Duly noted. Thank you, sir. All right, seeing nobody else, anybody opposed to the variance request at this time? All right, also seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. With that, do board members want to discuss this? With that, I'll entertain a motion if somebody'd like to do that.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second for approval of variance 26-2. Please indicate your, it's by voting on your sheet. Oh, good question, Justin. So Heidi, would you be amenable to changing your your motion to include that the applicant work with the planning department? Okay.
All right, I'll second.
All right. We have an amended motion and a second now. All right, for variance 26-2, all votes are for the motion, so you should receive a notice from the staff soon indicating that everything's good to go. Thank you for your time. Thank you. All right. Move on to the next item on the agenda. Conditional use permit 26-4. And we got Joella on the computer for a report.
Right, is it working? Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. This application is for 33 Holiday Drive for the Wagner Nursery and Landscaping. This is conditional use number 26-4, and the applicant is Wagner's Nursery and Landscaping Company, or 4W Development LLC, and Jake Wagner is the representative. The applicant is requesting approval to locate a 16-foot by 110-foot lean-to covered storage for materials and products for dry storage on the east end of the property. Per requirements of section 17.830, conditional uses of the Butte-Silver Municipal Code allows this type of activity as a conditional use within the R1S zone with approval by the Zoning Board of Adjustments. This is an aerial view of the location. Wagner's is here within the yellow. This is the area where the storage unit is located. The location and character of the property and surrounding buildings. This property in question is located in a single-family suburban residential zone. It's approximately 30 acres. Existing improvements that have happened on this particular parcel is a commercial greenhouse and event center and an approval for an open cut operation. The site is adjacent to Interstate 90 to the east. The west side is Continental Drive, and single family housing is located to the north and south of the property. Substantial changes in the land and use conformity with the neighborhood plan. There have been no significant land use changes in the immediate areas since the original adoption of the zoning ordinance in 1978, except the area to the south has undergone a major subdivision known as the Buffalo Estates Subdivision Phase 1, and that was in 2020. There is no known neighborhood plan for this area. Any potential nuisances. Based on the submitted information, the proposed activity is not expected to generate significant new traffic or create additional impacts to neighboring residential properties beyond the current use. That the proposal meets the overall density, yard height, and other requirements of the zone. In 2010, this parcel was allowed to operate as a nursery and event center, and an open cut permit was granted in July of 2025. The proposal will not change the use of the property, nor will the density, yard, or height be modified. The current proposal does not change the established use of the property, and the applicant has indicated that the proposal will not modify the applicable density, yard, or height requirements of the zone. And also, accessory structures are, including private garages, barns, coops, and any similar structures are permitted uses within the R1S zone. Any future expansion of the building footprint or construction of additional buildings shall be required to meet all development standards of the zone. Some conditions of approval for this particular proposal. The applicant shall comply with all applicable building, fire, and zoning code requirements. The applicant shall comply with all previously approved conditions of approval associated with prior conditional use permits. Prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall submit cost estimate prepared by a licensed contractor for any additional paved parking spaces that may be required, including striping of both new and existing parking spaces. Approval is limited to the specific business and use as presented and approved. Any future expansions of the business, change in use, or expansion of structures shall require additional review and approval by the Zoning Board of Adjustments. In conclusion, based on the information provided in the application, staff's analysis of the review criteria, and any public opinion as it relates to the criteria, the board must determine if the applicant has presented evidence to the satisfaction of the board that said undue detriment will not result from the granting of a conditional use permit for this 16-foot by 110-foot lean-to structure. Section 1738-160, special or conditional use permits. Decision of the board requires staff to refer the application to the board within 15 days of the receipt of the application and all requested information. The board shall within 60 days deny the application and give reason for the denial, or approve the application, and the zoning officer shall issue a zoning compliance permit. Thank you.
Thank you, Joella. Do board members have any questions of staff at this point? Okay. All right, is the applicant present? Yeah, can you come forward, state your name, and tell us what's been going on?
Ruby Anderson, I'm the manager at Wagner Nursery. And yes, we would just like to put the lean-to up, basically to put a lot of the pots and things like that that end up blowing in the wind. And we have to try and keep them contained just to kind of clean up the hillside is what we're trying to do. So that would all go into the lean-to. So the public, when they come to buy things, you're not seeing basically our junk. Just trying to make it, yeah, a little more presentable that way. Also, then we don't have pots blown up to the freeway, getting caught in the fence and having to go fetch those, things like that.
Do board members have any questions at this time? Okay. I guess I have a question. Has this been completed yet? Have you built this?
They have the frame up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think staff is, did we say that in there? We're suggesting that you make sure you follow the building code process and the permit process, and is that going to be an issue?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I guess I need to do public hearing, right? Okay, thank you. Keep me in line. All right, is there anybody present who would like to add comments in favor of the proposed conditional use permit? Okay. What's that? Yeah, no, I appreciate that. For the record, can you come state your name so that we I'm pretty informal, but we do need to follow some rules. There you go.
So my name is Debbie Wickston, and I'm in favor of their addition. We're a neighbor to the south, and they've been very good neighbors. Yep. Okay, thank you.
I appreciate that. Anybody else like to make a comment in favor? All right, seeing none at this time. Anybody have any comments in opposition of this proposal? Again, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Does board have any discussion on this like to do before we entertain a motion? All right, we'll entertain a motion. Okay. We got a motion and a second to approve. Please indicate your choice by voting on your form. All right, for conditional use permit 26-4, all votes are for the motion, so it passes. Congratulations. You should receive a letter soon from staff that indicates that, and for the future, I encourage you to work with staff ahead of time and follow the process. Thank you. All right, moving on to our final thing on the agenda is conditional use 26-5. And Joella's back at the computer again.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. This is conditional use 26-5, and it's for 1823 Garfield Street. The proposal is to locate a Class B single-wide manufactured home in an R1 single-family residential zone. And it's a 2025 manufactured home. The location, as stated, is 1823 Garfield Street. This is an overview. As you can see, it's surrounded by all single-family residential. This is a photo of the manufactured home that the applicants have selected to put on the property. And these are just some photos of the current location as it sits today. This is a view looking north down Garfield Street. Sorry, that said Marcia Street. And this one is looking south down Garfield Street. Some background for this proposal. Butte-Silver Municipal Code 171030 states that Class B manufactured homes may be conditional uses in an R1 zone. Class A manufactured homes are allowed in the R1 zone. Class A manufactured home must be a double wide. It must be newer than October 24th of 1994, and it must meet applicable facade and exterior design requirements as outlined in the code. Class B manufactured homes are typically single wide, and they also must be constructed after October 24th, 1994. Approval of a Class B manufactured home in the R1 district is subject to review under the 20 criteria of a conditional use established by the code. The location, character, and design of the surrounding area. The subject parcel is approximately 4,356 square feet in size, and it's located in an area predominantly developed with single-family stick-built residentials. Properties to the north, south, east, and west are occupied by single-family homes that are consistent in character and scale with the surrounding neighborhood. There is a single-wide Class B manufactured home located in the vicinity on the corner of Marcia and Garfield Street. Potential nuisances. Class B manufactured homes are excluded from most residential zoning districts in Butte-Silver Bow and other municipalities due to potential impact on the character of the neighborhoods. Single-wide manufactured homes typically present a distinct appearance that differs from surrounding stick-built residences. The proposed unit is a newer model, and the applicants have indicated an intent to improve the property by removing an existing deteriorated shed and maintaining the site in a manner consistent with the surrounding area. These proposed site improvements, along with some of the conditions of approval, may help mitigate potential visual impacts. Class A's manufactured homes are typically allowed because they're more similar looking to stick-built homes in both scale and design. Public health and safety. There should be no public health and safety concerns with the proposal so long as all applicable permits are acquired for placing the building on permanent foundation and hooking up to utilities. Manufactured homes are built to HUD standards and inspected by HUD. The proposed structure is a newer model. It's a 2025 and has been approved by HUD. Availability of public utilities and services. Uses sought would enhance comprehensive development. Public utilities and services are available to the subject property. The applicant has stated that water, sewer, natural gas, and electricity have all been identified on the site. And the property did previously have a residential dwelling on it. This photo shows the green lines are the sewer lines that run through the property. The blue line are the water lines that run through this area. Compatibility of projects with existing adjacent buildings, structures, neighborhood topography, or other considerations. The neighborhood is primarily stick-built. Proposed 2025 structure has some features similar to those of stick-built homes. It includes architectural features commonly associated with site-built dwellings, including upgraded exterior siding and a pitched roof with shingles, consistent with those typically used in conventional residential construction. These characteristics could contribute to compatibility with the surrounding neighborhood, though there are very few Class B homes in the immediate area. Some conditions of approval that staff felt were necessary. The manufactured home proposed to be placed on the subject property shall comply with all applicable development standards of the R1 zoning district, including but not limited to setbacks, height, and lot coverage, as set forth in Butte-Silver Bow Municipal Code Section 1710. The specific Class B manufactured home submitted with the application shall be the same home or a substantially similar home as the unit placed on the property. 2025 Class B manufacturing home shall meet the design and installation standards required of a Class A manufactured home, except for the double wide requirement. These standards include, but are not limited to, the manufactured home shall be installed on a permanent foundation that meets all applicable building code requirements and shall be permanently anchored to the foundation. The roof shall be compatible with conventionally built homes in the surrounding area, finished with a type of shingle commonly used in standard residential construction. The exterior covering materials shall be similar to or closely compatible with materials found on conventionally built residential structures. Exterior surface reflectivity shall not exceed that of siding coated with white gloss exterior paint. Permanent weather retardant skirting shall be installed around the perimeter of the home. The skirting shall be compatible with exterior siding or constructed of standard foundation materials. tongue, axles, transportation lights, and all removable towing apparatuses shall be removed after placement on the lot and prior to issuance of a certificate of occupancy. The applicant shall landscape and maintain the property in a manner consistent with the surrounding residential properties. The applicant shall comply with all applicable building, fire, and health code requirements as enforced by Butte-Silver Building, Fire, and Health Department respectively. All required permits, approvals, and inspections shall be obtained prior to final occupancy. The property address shall be clearly visible from the front of the property and consistent with the traditional neighborhood place type identified in the Butte-Silver Comprehensive Plan. The manufactured home shall include a minimum of one primary building entrance oriented towards Garfield Street. Front porches are encouraged to support neighborhood connectivity and compatibility. In conclusion and board action, the board must determine if the application presents evidence that undue detriment will not result from granting of a conditional use for this Class B manufactured home. 1738-160 special and conditional uses. The board shall within 60 days deny the application and give reason for the denial, or approve the application, and the zoning officer shall issue zoning compliance permit with the conditions specified. Thank you.
Thank you, Joella. Do board members have any questions of staff? Nope. All right, is the applicant present? Can you please come up, state your name, and tell us what your plans are?
My name's Vicki Stevenson, and I'm the co-owner of 1823, 1825, and 1827 Garfield. We plan on putting a single-wide dwelling on 1823, which already had a home on it back in 2010, I believe, before my dad tore it down. So all utilities are there. We will remove that ugly shed that's falling down. There will be off-street parking at 1827 Garfield. Like I said, my goal is just to improve the lot, make it back to residential, character as it should be. And in the one picture where you saw the trailer and the shed and the nice green weeds, it would really help my 83-year-old mother to not have to keep watering those weeds if we could get this done. Honest to God.
Excellent, thank you very much. Did you have a chance to review the conditions that were presented today? You saw them there, but...
Yeah.
And are you okay with those?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Do board members have any questions of the applicant?
I just have a question. So one of those conditions was to have a front porch or front entrance facing Garfield. How are you going to be able to do that?
The manufacturer, they said they can put the door in front if it has to be in front. Where the window is in front, they'll put the door there if it has to be.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you. We'll do the public hearing now. Is anybody here that wants to speak in favor of this? All right, come on up, state your name and whatever you have to say.
Hello, my name is Benjamin Bolle. I inherited the home that's directly north of them, which is 1821 Garfield. So my basic goal initiative on this was just to find out what's going on with the plan, see if it's going to improve the neighborhood. From what I see so far, I'm very impressed with it. I am impressed that they're going to take the log garage down that's been there since I was a little kid. I've already talked to them about the pile of wood. They're gonna move the pile of wood, so it's gonna greatly improve the visibility of the neighborhood. I did have some questions that, according to the lot plan that's posted online, it showed the placement of the building 15 feet back from the streets. I do feel that might impede the view a little bit, and I was wondering if it could be set back according to this young lady here. She told me earlier that potentially, I believe it said something about 20 feet was supposed to be appropriate. If they're granted the 15 feet, we'll live with it. But 20 feet back would be nice. And that's the only other thing I have to say.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We don't, typically with the public comment, we don't take and answer questions, but thank you for your comment, and I'm sure you've already talked to the applicant, you can work with them on that, on the side, so. Any other people in favor of this? Nobody's left. Yourself? Come on up.
This is my mother-in-law's house, and boy, it'll make my life a lot easier. I gotta drive 10 miles into town every time something goes wrong. I keep her yard up and everything. It's a nice area, and we just improve it. It's nice to be that close to her.
Perfect, thank you. Anybody like to speak in opposition to this? I'm going to take that as a no, since there's nobody left that hasn't spoke. We'll close the public hearing, and do board members have any discussion before we ask for a motion? A whole lot of no's, so I'd entertain a motion if somebody'd like to make one.
This does seem like an improvement to what's there. So I would make a motion to approve 26005.
We have a motion and a second. Please indicate your choice by voting on your form. And in the matter of conditional use permit 2605, we're three for tonight, so everybody votes yes, you're approved. You'll receive a letter soon from staff indicating that, and good luck and thank you. And with that, the last thing, I guess, Director Crane, there's nothing else that you want to share, or we go for adjournment? Okay, let's adjourn. I'm going to gavel it. Just because I can.